From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
And it is 5 o'clock here on your Thursday. Good morning to you. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Rafael Sanchez. Lauren, good morning to you. Here are your headlines on this Thursday. We begin with what is now an investigation involving several fires, as several homes are engulfed in fire. Now an investigation into a string of arsons is now underway.
Millions of dollars in CARES Act funding going to help Marion County residents who are struggling to pay their rent during this pandemic. Working for you, our Kelsey Anderson explains how the funding works and where you can apply.
And sizing up the aftermath of Sally, the path of this deadly and destructive storm along the Gulf Coast. The images coming from that part of the country simply are just unbelievable. Good morning to you on this Thursday. I'm Rafael Sanchez, coming to you from Johnson County as we continue to social distance here at WRTV. Lauren and Todd, good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Rafael. Hope you're having a great Thursday. If you step outside, it's a pretty nice day out there already this morning. And Todd, you were saying this may be our warmest morning for a while, right?
Yeah, you know, temperatures for the most part are in the mid to upper 50s here this morning. Come this time tomorrow, we're going to be talking about widespread 40s across the area. So yeah, today's running a little bit warmer than it will be not only tomorrow morning, but in the days ahead. We're right at 50 degrees in Bloomington. You've been our cool spot all morning long. As you work your way to the north, you notice temperatures in Indy's at 56 degrees, Lafayette's at 58. You may ask, why is it cooler in southern locations compared to northern locations? Has to do with the cloud cover. Some high thin clouds are already creeping in to northern locales, and that's where your Peru temperatures at 60 degrees, 51 in Greencastle. And it's just some broken clouds, but it's enough just to keep the temperatures up a few degrees. As far as Sally, it's down to our south. It's not going to impact us. This is going to head towards Washington, D.C. So for us, we have a sun-filled day for us with, we'll kind of toggle back and forth with partly cloudy skies. Temperatures climbing to the low 70s here shortly after the noon hour. Then we'll start to cool down once that cold front makes its way through. More on your extended forecast coming up in just a little bit. Lauren.
Todd, thank you. Let's go back down to the south side. A look from our NDOT traffic camera at I-465 and State Road 37, the Harding Street exit. Off in the distance there in the skies, you can see billowing smoke. This is from several semis in the area that are on fire next to each other. This is off that main drag of State Road 37 and the interstate, so it's not going to impact your commute per se, but as you're traveling through this area, you will likely see the smoke, the flashing lights off in a distance, and our crew is working to get there to get more information from IFD. Of course, we'll pass that along to you as soon as we get it. And again, this shouldn't impact your commute, but if you're wondering what's going on here and you see all of that smoke, it is several semis on fire here just off Harding Street. Rafael.
Lauren, we're following another developing story. This involving one person is dead, another hospitalized after a shooting on the city's west side. According to Metro Police, this happened around 1:30 at the 3000 block of North High School Road. A woman was pronounced dead at the scene. A man was found suffering from gunshot wounds and was taken to the hospital, we're told, in critical condition. Police have not released any information on a suspect at this time. We will keep following the latest information on that developing story. Another developing story right now, fire crews investigating a string of arsons overnight, this happening on the city's west side. And here are the details as we know them right now. The Indianapolis Fire Department was first called to a house fire on the 1000 block of Eugene Street. This around 10:30 last night. Now, when they arrived to this vacant home, it was engulfed in flames, as you can see. The second fire was at another vacant home just 2 houses down. Then a third fire was reported about 2 miles away, this at 38th and Kenwood Avenue. That was fully involved. That home was also vacant. Fire officials have ruled them all to be arson, and they ask anyone with information to call Crime Stoppers right now. That number, as you know it, is 317-262-TIPS.
Well, it is a multi-million-dollar lifeline to people who are struggling right now just to keep a roof over their head during this pandemic.
WRTV's Kelsey Anderson is live this morning with the extra dollars now being made available to help you. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey,
Hey, good morning, Raphael and Lauren. So that $76 million is now available to help Marion County residents. The City County Council last night voting to approve the last round of the Federal CARES Act. So it extends many of the programs that have been helping residents, including $7.5 million for Marion County renters. We spoke to Bonnie Matula, an Indy resident who says this couldn't have come at a better time. She's a bartender, and after the pandemic and a dog attack, she hasn't been able to get back to work.
Basically, it was just like getting by with the unemployment because, I mean, I made more than that. I'm a bartender, so I made like relatively good money.
So if you are looking for assistance from the CARES Act, head to indyrent.org, and that's where you can apply for this rental assistance program. Marion County homeowners are also getting help. The funding includes $7 million for foreclosure prevention and mortgage refinancing. Other major investments from the relief package include $7.5 million for small business grants in the hospitality industry. That includes bars, restaurants, and entertainment venues. More than $5 million will pay for homeless services, and more than $2 million will go toward food bank support. Now, a statewide rental program that ended at the end of August, and there's no word yet if the statewide will be if that funding will come for that again. But of course, we will keep you updated. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you so much. Mayor Joe Hogsett also announcing that $7.5 million of the CARES Act dollars will help businesses in the hospitality industry. We're talking about hotels, bars, restaurants, as well as entertainment venues.
But it is our intent to deploy these grants to offset fixed expenses, such as utilities, rent, or mortgage payments for hospitality businesses who are affected and impacted by ongoing public health orders.
The city's recovery continues, and the mayor says more details on the grants will be announced in the coming weeks. Lauren?
And Raphael, now to the latest on COVID-19 and the outbreak here in our state. The Indiana State Department of Health is reporting 624 new cases of the virus. That brings the total to nearly 108,000. Marion County continues to have the most cases right now, with more than 20,000 total reported. 12 new deaths were also confirmed. 3,247 total deaths have been reported since the pandemic began. And as of this morning, only 2 counties here in our state are currently rated with a moderate to high coronavirus spread. That is Monroe and Delaware County. So state health leaders say that's because of large-scale testing that's going on right now associated with universities in those counties, Ball State and IU Bloomington.
This morning, some helpful news for families wanting to trick-or-treat this Halloween. Here are the latest from the state. State Health Commissioner Dr. Christina Bach says it's too early to make any decisions or give any official advice or guidance just yet. But trick-or-treating and other holiday fun events does not necessarily mean that needs to be canceled.
If a county's or a community's numbers are low, I think that Halloween can occur safely. Again, it's about washing your hands carefully, right? It's about not letting your kids dig into that pumpkin in that bucket and eat it as they're walking around unless their hands have been washed. I don't think big Halloween parties with lots of kids at one time is a good idea, but we'll try to come out with some more direction or advice prior to that time.
Dr. Bach says that local health departments are also having these discussions with their communities.
We now want to go to the wrath of Hurricane Sally to our south. That storm now turning deadly, and it's not over as millions of people from Alabama to the Carolinas are on alert now for dangerous flooding. ABC's Kenneth Moten has a look at that destruction and the historic flooding in the Florida Panhandle.
Overnight Sally turning deadly. At least one person found dead after the powerful storm swept through the Gulf Coast, leaving a trail of destruction.
I mean, just look at the sheer damage of this building. A whole second half ripped to the ground.
Docks turned into driftwood. Trees and power lines snapped like twigs. Winds topped 100 miles per hour, shearing off the steeple of this church.
Evacuations could literally be in the thousands. So it's going to be a long time, folks, for us to come out of this thing.
Officials throughout the region raced to help hundreds of people stranded by the rising floodwaters.
We're in chest deep water.
We just did not expect that. I think a lot of people
didn't realize what this hurricane was going to do.
The rain was pouring through the cracks of the doors, but at a point it was just flowing in.
ABC's senior meteorologist Rob Marciano was in Florida as Sally made landfall as a Category 2 hurricane.
The wind has just been relentless here in downtown Pensacola. This is Main Street, and it's just nuking Whitecaps with this storm surge. Debris, traffic lights littering this street.
From Pensacola to Panama City, dozens of roads washed out. One car even swept away when the road collapsed beneath it. And a huge section of a major bridge swept away after a construction barge slammed into it. In Alabama, counties under curfew overnight as officials try to assess the damage. Buildings along the coast stripped bare, marinas and docks now in shambles, while boats are beached hundreds of feet from the water. Kenneth Moten, ABC News, New York.
Well, here at 5:10, with the multiple hurricanes, wildfires, and the pandemic, Red Cross officials say the need for volunteers right now is at a level not seen since World War I. The organization says that many former volunteers are not able to help right now due to health concerns. Red Cross volunteers help deliver supplies and support emergency shelters. And CEO Chad Priest says that they provide something much more important.
They provide hope, and you can't underestimate the power of reaching a hand out to someone in your community and just letting them know you're there. It's the most important thing we can do for each other in crisis.
Anyone 18 or older can sign up to volunteer with the Red Cross. Training can be done at your own pace. For more information, you can go to our website, WRTV.com. Back here at home, many kids may be waking up early this morning, getting ready to head out to the bus stop. Todd, and what do they need to wear?
You know, it's not as cool as it was yesterday morning, but I would still probably recommend, especially for the younger kids, a light jacket as you get going here this morning, as temperatures on average are in the mid-50s with skies that are mainly clear across the area. As the kids come home, a little more in the way of cloud cover and temperatures a little cooler than they have been, with a high rate around 73 degrees, as a cold front will be working its way through the area today. That's why we're going to have a little more in the way of cloud cover later on this afternoon. Can't rule out the chance of a stray sprinkle, but it's nothing really more than that. So you do not need any form of rain gear here throughout the day today. But what the cold front will do is knock our temperatures well below normal. In fact, tomorrow and Saturday, we might not even get to 70 degrees for your high temperature. And then we'll start to moderate back closer to average through the middle half of next week. So it's a pretty cool stretch of weather, but it's going to be, Lauren, a very dry stretch of weather for us as well.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's take a look right now. Live pictures from our photographer, Eldon Wheeler, at the scene of several semis on fire at an area business just off State Road 37 near I-465. You can see the interstate traffic there in the background. And this is the scene where you can see several of those cabs and semis still smoking at this hour. IFD there at the scene working to put out the flames, and we don't know what caused this just yet, so we're going to continue to check in there with our crew at the scene, and we'll let you know as soon as we learn more details. If you see smoke in the skies there on the south side, that is from this scene. Of course, we'll continue to keep you updated, and we'll see you on the other side of the break.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. From WRTV Investigates, the Northwest Hendricks School Board has voted to fire two high school administrators. Nathan and Stacy Begley worked as the athletic director and dean of students at Tri-West High School, both accused of failing to report sexual misconduct allegations involving a teacher and a student in 2019. And that student is Stacy Lewis's daughter.
I'm thankful that we finally have the decision to terminate Stacy Begley, the Dean of Students, and Nathan Begley, the Athletic Director from Northwest Hendricks County. It's very disappointing, though, that it has taken over a year, and them being on a paid leave and receiving a wage increase when no new information has been found. These two were just charged by the Hendricks County Prosecutor's Office, and it's unfortunate that our school board president spent his time playing golf with them rather than addressing it and taking care of the students.
The Begleys are charged with failure to make a report, charges they call unfounded. WRTV's Investigates' Kara Kenny has been exposing and following the Tri-West developments for more than a year now. The Begleys have been on paid administrative leave since February, when the Department of Education filed a complaint against their teaching licenses. The district has not yet responded to our request asking how much compensation the Begleys have received while on paid leave. You can find more on this developing story on our website, WRTV.com. Lauren?
Raphael, it's 5:17, and college campuses continue to be hotspots for COVID-19 cases. More than 88,000 coronavirus cases have been reported since the fall semester started. That's according to a report from the New York Times. So some colleges tried fighting the spread by testing students before they could start class, but to do it regularly, it would be costly. California State looked into it and said it would cost around $25 million a week. That's with a traditional test that can cost up to $150.
So on the other side of the world, China is now reporting that hundreds of thousands of people in their country have been given COVID-19 vaccines. China's state-owned pharmaceutical company says it gave the vaccines to high-risk groups of Phase 3 of their trials. That includes medical professionals, diplomats, and workers at state-owned enterprises. The company says their vaccines were proven effective because none of the vaccinated people who traveled to high-risk areas were infected. China's CDC estimates that the public would be able to start taking that vaccine in November.
Hazy skies from wildfires have become a common sight in the western U.S., but now the East Coast is actually seeing it too. Smoke from dozens of wildfires has made its way across the country, even to parts of Mexico, Canada, even Europe. On the West Coast, the smoke is making for some of the worst air quality conditions. But medical experts say by the time it reaches the U.S. in the Midwest, it doesn't pose as much of a health risk. It does, however, create some vibrant sunsets, and we've been lucky enough to see some of those right here in central Indiana. And Todd, hopefully people have been getting out in the evenings because the weather's been really nice this week.
Yeah, you know, I've been talking about it all week, how we've kind of had that milky sky with the smoke moving through. But yeah, all the smoke particles are in the higher levels of the atmosphere. Hard to believe from the West Coast, they made it all the way over to Europe now. And as the sun starts to set, it gets lower in the horizon, it reflects more of those smoke particles. That's why the sunsets look so nice. This morning, partly cloudy skies, cool temperatures out there. As we get into the afternoon hours, I think there'll be a brief period where most of us have more clouds than sunshine as a cold front makes its way through the area. And then once that front goes through, we quickly get back into partly cloudy skies. So overall, it's not a bad day today. It just features at times a little more in the way of cloud cover across the area than what we've seen throughout the course of this week so far. Temperatures running a little bit warmer here this morning than they have been. 50 in Bloomington as well as Greenfield. It's 56 in Indianapolis, 52 in Greencastle, and holding on to 60 degrees right now up in the Peru area. And as you look at your satellite radar picture, you notice a couple things. This cloud shield right here, that is the northern edge of Sally that is down to our south, or what's left of Sally. And then you notice this little band of cloud cover, and that's the cold front that's going to be approaching the state later on this afternoon. You can see exactly where that cold front lies, 67 in Chicago, but only 48 degrees in Minneapolis. And it's this pocket of cool air that's going to start to make its way into the eastern half of the country. That's going to cause our temperatures to run below normal for the next couple days. Our normal high is 77. We probably don't get back to that number until maybe the beginning to middle half of next week. This morning, next couple hours, we're going to hold pretty steady here. Temperatures really don't do much, and then we'll start to climb up into the 60s as we work our way into the afternoon hours. And then there's Sally with the heavy rain in Atlanta. I know many flights from IND go through Atlanta, so just make sure you check with your airline before you head off to the airport. Highs today a little cooler to the north because the cold front comes through your area a little bit sooner today. We're looking at upper 60s to low 70s. As you work your way down to the south, it's a little bit warmer because it takes the cold front again a little bit longer to get to you. So I do think locations here to the south will climb up into the 80s here later on this evening. As the cold front goes through, we'll fall back down into the 60s. And then for the day tomorrow, look at this. It's a sun-filled day. That's not the issue, but highs will only be in the mid to upper 60s across the area. It's a cool day for us. And then for Saturday, we're at 70 degrees, and then temperatures do start to moderate as far as highs going into next week. But several mornings in a row here, Lauren, with low temperatures that'll be down into the mid-40s.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's take a look at traffic right now as you're heading out on the roads, taking you back down here to the south side. This is a live picture from our photographer here at the scene where we have several semis on fire, and they're working to put those out. As you can see right now, you can see the burned cab right there, looking closely on our screen. This is down just off Harding Street near I-465, right off the interstate at a nearby business. Right now, we don't have any word on what caused this scene here, but it is a massive effort by IFD, as you can see. And this is a look at our traffic camera in the area. It looks like we do have some flashing lights there off in a distance and then at the bottom of your screen, but overall traffic at 465 and State Road 37 has not been greatly impacted by the fire efforts down there on the south side. Of course, we'll continue to keep you updated as we learn more information, and we'll see you on the other side of the break.
And welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. The time is 5:26. It's a pretty quiet morning for us here across central Indiana once again. Temperatures not quite as cool this morning as they have been. We are in the mid-50s temperature-wise. So you'll probably need a light jacket again this morning, but we'll have cooler mornings in our future. We have some sunshine here to start the day. As the day goes on, a little more in the way of cloud cover will build in as we get into the afternoon hours. That's because a cold front will work its way through. As this front comes through, temperatures will probably hit their highs fairly early in the afternoon, and then they'll slowly start to fall off as we work our way into the evening hours. Once this front goes through, though, cool temperatures in our future for both highs and lows. In fact, tomorrow we may not even get to 70 degrees during the afternoon hours. We'll talk about your 7-day planning forecast coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
For struggling Marion County renters. Working for you, our Kelsey Anderson breaks down the new multi-million-dollar plan.
And the Big Ten ready for a football season. We're finding out how it all came together and what this means for our Indiana teams in the weeks ahead.
And a developing story this morning, trucks on fire. The investigation now underway on the city's south side. Lauren will have much more on that in just a few moments. Welcome to Good Morning Indiana on this Thursday. Of course, if you step outside right now, Lauren and Todd, it is cool. It is super comfortable out there.
Yeah, that's right, Raphael. Right now, it's pretty comfortable out there, and Todd has been telling us this is the warmest it's going to be in the mornings because we have cool days ahead. So let's look at what's going on right now. Yeah,
as we work our way throughout the next couple days, Lauren, we'll be talking about temperatures that are going to be in the 40s, and I really think you'll notice the difference. It doesn't sound like a whole lot when I'm talking about temperatures in the 50s here this morning compared to mid-40s, but then when you experience it, you'll be like, all right, yeah, it is a little bit cooler here compared to the day before. Sunglasses and a light jacket needed as you get going here today. I didn't check the umbrella. There is a front coming through. It's not completely out of the question that there could be a stray shower here or there throughout the afternoon hours, but it's probably more of a sprinkle than anything. So you definitely do not need to have the umbrella with you at all times throughout the day today. So here are those temperatures, a little cooler to the south where the skies are a little bit clearer. Look at that, still mid-60s to the north. Tomorrow we're going to be in the 40s almost all across the area. So some areas will be running about 15 degrees colder by this time tomorrow. Skies are mainly clear right now to the south, partly cloudy, as I mentioned, to the south. Here we are dealing with Sally that stays down to our south. So it's a pretty quiet day for us, even with a front going through. As we go throughout the morning hours, we feature more in the way of sunshine. Then it turns partly cloudy. There could be a brief period as that front goes through with overcast skies, but I don't think we're ever going to be completely solid overcast. That's the good news. Your high today, that occurs probably around midday, and then those temperatures will slowly start to fall off throughout the afternoon hours.
New overnight, one person is dead, another hospitalized after a shooting on the city's west side. According to IMPD, this happened around 1:30 on the 3000 block of North High School Road. A woman was pronounced dead at the scene. A man was also found from gunshot wounds, and he was taken to the hospital in critical condition. Police have not released any information on the suspect at this time.
And Raphael, Indianapolis firefighters say that a string of fires on the city's west side may have been intentionally set. Crews were first called out to a house on the 1000 block of Eugene Street near 30th and MLK around 10:30 last night. When they arrived at the scene, there was a home fully engulfed in flames, and then 2 houses down, another home was also on fire with heavy smoke. A third fire was reported about 2 miles away at 38th and Kenwood Avenue. That was also at a vacant home. Thankfully, no one was hurt in any of these fires. All 3 incidents have been ruled as arsons. Officials ask anyone with information to call Crime Stoppers. That number is 317-262-TIPS.
Lauren, more help is now being made available to people seeking to avoid an eviction in Marion County.
And WRTV's own Kelsey Anderson is joining us live right now with the dollars behind that decision. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning. So $76 million will now be available to help renters and business owners here in Marion County during this pandemic. The City County Council approving the 3rd and final round of federal CARES Act funding just last night. It extends many of the programs that have been helping residents, including $7.5 million for Marion County's renters. If you do need rental assistance, head over to indyrent.org. But that money is also going to help homeowners, business owners, and more.
But it is our intent to deploy these grants to offset fixed expenses, such as utilities, rent, or mortgage payments for hospitality businesses who are affected and impacted by ongoing public health orders.
Now, Mayor Hogsett said more details on the grants will be announced in the coming weeks, and a statewide rental assistance program stopped accepting applications at the end of August, and there's no word yet if that is going to be continued, if more funding will come to help people across the state with rental assistance. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you so much. This morning, the head of the CDC says that face masks are the most powerful tool we currently have in our toolkit in the fight against COVID-19 as the world awaits for a vaccine.
Face masks, these face masks are the most important, powerful public health tool we have. And I will continue to appeal for all Americans, all individuals in our country, to embrace these face coverings. I've said it, if we did it for 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks, we'd bring this pandemic under control. These actually, we have clear scientific evidence they work, and they are our best defense. I might even go so far as to say that this face mask is more guaranteed to protect me against COVID than when I take a COVID vaccine.
So Dr. Redfield went on to say that even if a COVID-19 vaccine was released today, it would take from 6 to 9 months for enough people to get it to create that immunity. And he does not think one will be available to the general public until the middle of next year at some point. Now, here at home, Governor Eric Holcomb has a message for Hoosiers who may be getting tired of wearing their masks, tired of the restrictions. Here's what he had to say.
You mask up to stay open. If you care about Main Street, if you care about the economy, you only have to look around into some other places that are doing the opposite, closing down. And so I don't like them either, but it's just a fact of life right now. The virus hasn't changed. It is still uber infectious. It is still ravaging different parts of the country. The virus has not changed. It's we have. And the more that we do, and the more that we do the things that work, the better off we'll be.
So keep this in mind, the state's mask mandate, it runs through at least September the 25th.
It is 5:36 now on your Thursday, and the Big Ten football season is now scheduled to kick off the weekend of October 23rd. WRTV's Brad Brown explains the reasons behind the reversal and shares some reaction from our state's 2 Big Ten coaches.
College football season has been underway in some form for the past couple of weekends, except for the Big Ten. But soon, the waiting game will finally lead to a kickoff.
You know, you see the other teams going out there playing, and I don't think they have the stringent protocols that we're going to be having going forward. So I think that's what makes everyone more confident that this can work.
It's hard to be training for something you're not even sure what that is as far as the date. And was it going to be November? Was it going to be even as late as January, you know? And was it even going to happen at all, you know? And so the October piece kind of just came in.
Approval only came with a plan in place for rigorous COVID-19 testing. Before the end of this month, anyone involved with a team's football activities will go through daily screening. Any player testing positive would have to sit out for 21 days.
That medical expertise, the power of the Big Ten was brought to the fore here with our medical experts. It was just a great example of teamwork and collaboration and getting to yes.
They got to understand that a lot of people are doing a lot of things, and a lot of time invested. Medical staff's invested so much to help them, you know, have an opportunity to play this season. So they need to honor those individuals by doing what we ask them to do.
The Big Ten approved a plan on Wednesday that will get football started before the end of October. That's 7 weeks later than originally planned. The new agenda will open the weekend of October 23rd for 9 games. That final weekend will be a crossover matchup. Placements across divisions will face one another 1v1 in the Big Ten championship game.
There's been a lot of hard work and a lot of people that have expressed their opinion, but really behind the scenes, we've gotten a lot of hard work to get answers and to get improvements that I think a lot of information was brought in front of our athletic directors, in front of our presidents and chancellors, and we definitely, those things helped us get back on the field.
So if the Big Ten's plans stay on track, their conference championship game would be on December 19th, potentially here at Lucas Oil Stadium. That date did not come out of thin air. The College Football National Championship Committee will set its semifinal pairings on December 20th. So this keeps the Big Ten in the national title mix as well. There are tens of millions of dollars riding on the line between TV deals and sponsorship obligations. And then there's the matter of the rest of fall sports, basketball and winter sports moving forward. The Big Ten is expected to announce the rest of those plans shortly. Working for you, Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
Brad, thank you. Meanwhile, the NCAA says that the 2020-2021 men's and women's college basketball seasons can start on November 25th. The Division I Council made this announcement on Wednesday. The council also changed the maximum number of games to 24 or 25 games plus one multiple team event. The minimum number of games was reduced by 50%, dropping that to 13. Women's teams can schedule 23 games plus one multiple team event or 25 games without a multiple team event. Full preseason practices can begin October 14th. The NCAA is still planning for the tournament to go on as scheduled with 68 teams and 14 sites in March and April.
So Peyton Manning is among 7 former Colts now nominated for the 2021 Pro Football Hall of Fame class. Manning, who won 2 Super Bowl titles in his career, one here in Indianapolis, the other with the Denver Broncos, won an NFL record 5 Most Valuable Player awards. In addition to Manning, a former Colts wide receiver Reggie Wayne, a tight end Dallas Clark, center Jeff Saturday, defensive back Bob Sanders, defensive end Cornelius Bennett, and punter Ron Stark were also nominated as modern era candidates. We wish them all the very best. Of course, this week I'm nominating Todd Clawson for the Weather Hall of Fame after 4 beautiful days here in Central Indiana. Todd, will you accept the award?
I will accept that award, and we have even better days ahead, I think, as we look ahead to the weekend, as we kind of get our first real push of fall-like air with cool temperatures in both the morning hours and in the afternoon. One thing we need here in Central Indiana is some rainfall. It's very, very dry. I'll keep updating this map for you throughout the remainder of the month because we could set a record here. We're on pace for the driest September on record for the city of Indianapolis, only 0.04 of an inch of rain. We're now 1.61 inches below average for the month. There is a cold front coming through today, and it's another question you could see a sprinkle or two, but that's just about it. Highs where that front comes through a little bit quicker, only right around 70 degrees in northern locations where it takes that front longer to get to. A little bit warmer for you today down in Bloomington as well as Columbus, where high temperatures will be topping off right around 80 degrees. But once this front goes through, look at low temperatures the next couple days. Tomorrow we're in the upper 40s, but by Saturday and Sunday morning, about 44. That's in the city. Some outlying areas could be in the 30s, and that's what I mean by that big push of fall-like air. We'll talk more about it in your 7-day planning forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. The president says he's reviewing the deal between TikTok and Oracle. Coming up, why he says he's not ready to sign off on it quite yet.
Plus, IndyCar drivers They're trading their helmets for hot chicken and guitars. Coming up, the latest addition to next year's Indy car schedule. We thank you for starting your day right here on WRTV with Good Morning Indiana.
Welcome back. The time right now is 5:46 on our Thursday, and we are following a busy scene down here on the south side. You can see the interstate there, 465 in the background. This is right off Harding Street. There is a side street where businesses are located, and this is where we have several semis that have been on fire. Looks like most of the flames are out, still smoking a little bit there. One of the cabs at this hour, IFD has been busy putting out these fires. You may have seen the smoke in the air near State Road 37 and Harding Street. No traffic impact at this hour. We'll keep you updated as we learn more.
Lauren, thank you for that. President Trump says he expects to get a report today about the deal that Oracle made with TikTok. The software giant beat out Microsoft, as you may recall, to buy the U.S. portion of the Chinese-owned app. The president previously said that he would ban the app starting Sunday because he says it poses a national security threat. Right now, the president says he is not prepared to sign off on anything to stop the ban from happening.
They're giving me studies on the deal. Has to be 100% as far as national security is concerned. And no, I'm not prepared to sign off on anything. I have to see the deal. We need security, especially after what we've seen with respect to China and what's going on. We want security, so I'll let you know.
The president did admit there is no legal way for the U.S. Treasury to get a cut of the deal, something that's been widely criticized.
Well, investigators have busted a suspected human smuggling organization at a home in Phoenix. Officials say this operation also involved multiple locations and about 50 people total. They were taken into custody. Investigators are trying to figure out if any of them are in the U.S. illegally. Neighbors say they heard flashbangs before law enforcement officials stormed this home. The operation involved police and Border Patrol, as well as a task force that goes after drug smugglers.
Lauren, new details are now being released about that dive boat that burned and sank off the coast of California, killing at least 34 people last year. The National Transportation Safety Board documents say the surviving crew members of the boat known as the Conception were not specifically trained on emergency procedures. The first galley hand told investigators that he had asked the captain to discuss the procedures the day before the accident, but that never happened. The second galley hand said he knew where the fire extinguishers were, but never participated in a fire drill. Investigators have not yet determined what caused that deadly fire. A public hearing is scheduled next month to discuss the final findings in this case. Now time to check on your forecast. And Todd Clausen, I say turn on the porch light, step outside, and you will encounter what is a beautiful, cool, I know it's not daylight yet because it's still dark here in Franklin, but I say go outside, enjoy it, because we know it's going to get colder. Right?
Yeah, I encourage you to get outside really at any point throughout the next couple of days, because while you have a pretty prolonged stretch of comfortable weather here with cool overnight lows and highs, that'll be topping off close to normal. We're a little below normal the next couple of days. I'll show you that in just a second. One thing we don't have in this forecast is rainfall. I mentioned just a few minutes earlier, only 0.04 of an inch of rain. Here's where we stack up amongst the driest Septembers on record. 1963 is the driest as of right now officially, since we haven't gotten to the end of the month, where we saw just under a 1/4 inch of rain. But really, there's not a whole lot going forward in this forecast, at least for the next 7 to 10 days. 56 degrees. What we're waiting is a cold front that's going to be working its way through the area during the course of the day today, and that's going to take the temperatures and cut them down probably about 10 degrees by the time we get to tomorrow morning in many locations. It's 49 right now in Greenfield, 56 in Indianapolis, 50 is the current temperature in Bloomington, and you can see the colder air behind that front across parts of the northern plains, and that's what's going to be dropping into our area as we go throughout the course of the day today. So let me break it down for you. Here this morning we have the best opportunity for the most sunshine throughout the day, and temperatures on average that are going to be in the mid-50s. Once we get to mid-morning and then into the afternoon hours, we start to bring more in the way of cloud cover in as that front works its way through. There's the opportunity for maybe a spot sprinkle, and that is just about it as that front goes through. You notice the high temperatures today in the low to mid 70s occur pretty early in the afternoon, and then they start to cool off as we work our way into the evening hours. But the country is really, really quiet as far as storms go. The exception, obviously, what was Hurricane Sally, now just a area of low pressure bringing some heavy rainfall to Atlanta. But here in central Indiana, we are just nice and quiet. As that front goes through, I mentioned the shower chance. Look on TrueCast. It's not great by any means. It's probably a sprinkle, and that's just about it, if you even see that at all. There's just so much dry air in the lower levels of the atmosphere here. Any rain that tries to fall is just simply going to evaporate very, very quickly. This evening, grab the jacket. We're in the 60s. Sunset is at 7:50. Tomorrow morning, much cooler. About 45 in Peru, 48 in Indianapolis to start our day, 50 in Bloomington, and then throughout the day tomorrow, we're looking at plenty of sunshine. That's not the issue from start to finish. Highs tomorrow probably don't even get to 70 degrees at 68. It's a struggle probably to get to 70 on Saturday as well. And then we're in the mid to upper 70s as we get into next week. But even as the high temperatures start to climb, Lauren, low temperatures will stay in the 40s.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's take a look at traffic right now as you're heading on the roads, maybe heading to work or school this morning. Let's travel up to Hamilton County. Good morning to you in the Fishers area. This is I-69, a view near Cumberland Road. There you can see traffic is picking up. Traveling up to speed both northbound and southbound. No crashes or lane restrictions in this area to slow down your commute. Well, the federal government is providing millions of dollars for improvements to Rockville Road out in Avon. The $5 million grant will go towards adding a travel lane in each direction of a 1.2-mile stretch of that highway. It will also replace the left turn lane with a raised or curbed median to help control traffic flow. But as crews make these improvements, you are urged to show patience.
If you're widening something like Interstate 70 from 2 to 3 lanes, you need to remember that those projects take time. That's going to be slow, and we're going to ask members of the community to have patience with our construction folks because they're going to be out there working as swiftly as they can, but it's always important for everyone in the area to please be patient, to give our workers a break, to let them have a chance to set up, to make those improvements, and then clean it back up as soon as they can. So we always like to stress safety.
We heard her mention I-70 there. They're also giving federal funding to a project on I-70 out in Greenfield. A date for construction projects has not been set just yet.
Lauren, the sound of country music will join the roar of the IndyCar engines next August in Nashville. Drivers will now race through the streets of Music City, USA through August the 6th all the way through August the 8th. The event will feature concerts along with the street race. The more than 2-mile-long track will cross the Cumberland River in downtown Nashville, the only IndyCar race to do so. Now here's what IndyCar driver and Tennessean Joseph Newgarden had to say about racing in his hometown.
Well, I think I can speak for all the IndyCar drivers and tell you that this is going to be the #1 destination outside of the Indy 500 next year. We always mark the Indy 500 as a key point for us, but every driver that I've spoke to that's heard about Nashville, they want to come to this event and they want to succeed. So
it should be something to see. The Music City Grand Prix is the first new street course to be added to the IndyCar schedule since 2013. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on WRTV.
And welcome back to Good Morning Indiana here on WRTV. It's another quiet morning for us as you get going on this Thursday. One thing you'll notice, the temperatures, as you see on either side of me, running a little bit warmer than they were yesterday. We're in the 50s anywhere you go, no 40s out there, at least at these reporting sites. Radar's quiet right now. I can't completely rule out the chance of a stray shower as a cold front moves through during the course of the day today, but if you did see it, it's probably going to be very light, and most of us won't see it at all. Temperatures in the low 70s. That high today occurs pretty early in the afternoon. Once that front goes through, temperatures start to fall, setting us up for a cooler weekend, which we'll talk more about when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.